Hello and welcome to That Was Golf. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Weekly Review. I'm your host, Calum MacVicar, and over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be bringing you up to date with all of the golfing action from many of the men's and women's golfing tours from around the world from last week. We start this week on the Ladies European Tour, where it was the Czech Ladies Open, held at Royal Berun Golf Club in Berun, Zavoji, Czechia. Winning here was Nura Komulainen. Finnish national Nura Komulainen gained a first Ladies European Tour victory in her 14-year career, beating Justice Boisio and Lisa Peterson in a playoff. Komulainen's birdie on the repeat of the 18th hole was enough to give her the long-sought-after victory after 199 starts on the tour. The win gives Komulainen a jump on the season's order of merit to 9th place after completing 9 events of the 15 so far this season. On the Corn Ferry Tour, it was the Memorial Health Championship held at Panther Creek Country Club in Springfield, Illinois, USA. Winning here was Drew Nesbitt. After an astonishing 60-11 under par in round 1, the lowest round of the weekend and matching the tournament's 18-hole record, Drew Nesbitt went on to win his first victory on the Corn Ferry Tour over Cole Sherwood in second place by 1 shot. There have been 10 first-time winners on the Corn Ferry Tour this season, but Nesbitt's is the first by a player in their rookie season on the tour and moves him into 22nd place on the season's order of merit. On the PGA Tour, it's the Travelers Championship held at TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut, USA. At the time of recording, there is still no winner. The tournament is still active at time of recording after a 90-minute weather delay at the conclusion of 4 rounds, waiting for joint leaders Victor Hovland and Scotty Scheffler to complete a playoff after both players ended the tournament on 21 under par. The playoff will be played on Monday 29th June morning time in Connecticut, USA. On the Tartan Pro Tour, it was the Newmacher Classic held at Newmacher Golf Club, the Hawks Hill course in Newmacher, Scotland. Winning here was Aidan O'Hagan. Aidan O'Hagan gained his first professional win with a score of 14 under par and a 1-shot lead over John Patterson in second place. O'Hagan's second round, a 64-8 under par, the lowest of the weekend, sat in the middle of a round 1 score of 70 and a round 3 score of 68 to bring his total to 14 under par. With only 1 event played this season, O'Hagan enters the order of merit standings in 10th place. Last week, the R&A presented the Women's Amateur, which was held at Muirfield in Gullin, Scotland. Winning here was Valentine Delon. Following the same format as the Men's Amateur last week of 2 rounds of stroke play and 6 knockout rounds of match play with the final played across 2 rounds of 18, the Women's Amateur crowned its champion last week with Valentine Delon of France beating Andrea Revioleta of Spain 3-1 in the match play final. Delon follows in some impressive footsteps as she becomes the first French player to lift the trophy since Céline Boutier in 2015. The win opens up a fantastic list of playing opportunities for Delon, who will play in this year's AIG Open at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's, and the Amundi Evian Championship in her native France. Next year, we'll see entries to the Chevron Championship and the US Open for a total of 4 major spots, as well as invites to the Augusta National Women's Amateur, the Standard Portland Classic on the LPGA Tour, and an as-yet unnamed Ladies European Tour event. On the Nordic Golf League, it was the PGA of Sweden Championship held at Onsio Golf Club in Vänersborg, Sweden. Winning here was Per Langfors. A 5th win on the Nordic Golf League, the first in 8 years for Per Langfors, was won with some excellent low-scoring golf. A bogey-free 65-7 under par was followed by another 65, and a final round of 68 to finish on 18 under par and 1 shot ahead of Klaus Thran Borregaard in solo second place. In his first event on the Nordic Golf League this season, Langfors moves straight into 30th position on the Road to Europe Order of Merit standings. On the Epsom Tour, it was the Island Resort Championship held at Sweetgrass Golf Club in Harris, Michigan, USA. Winning here was Kylia Romero. After missing out in a playoff last week, Kylia Romero finds herself on the winning side of a playoff hole this week, beating Liqui Zhen across 1 playoff hole with an eagle on the par 5 18th. Finishing on 16 under par, Romero and Zheng finished one shot ahead of three players in tied third place, one of which was last week's winner, Lauren Olivares. After the disappointment of last week's playoff loss, this win will feel even sweeter for Romero, whose fine form also included a hole-in-one in round 1. For this win, Romero gains 500 points on the Race to the Card Order of Merit, moving into second place just behind Olivares, who leads the way. On the PGA Tour Champions, it was the Dix Open, held at Enjoy Golf Course in Endicott, New York, USA. Winning here was Dickie Pride. A two-player tie between Dickie Pride and Padraig Harrington led to a playoff hole at the Dix Open, with both players finishing on 18 under par at the conclusion of the 3-round tournament. Only one playoff hole was needed for Pride to get the better of Harrington with a par on the 18th hole, giving Pride his second win on the PGA Tour Champions and halting Harrington from claiming a fourth Dix Open title. The third women's major of the year, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, was held at Hazeltine National Golf Club in Chaska, Minnesota, USA. Winning here was Hairan Ryu. Hairan Ryu is a major winner for the first time as she finished on a tally of 13 under par, with a two-shot lead over Ina Yoon in second place. An opening round 73 1 over par was but a minor blip on Ryu's tournament run, as she then went on to score rounds of 64, 68 and 70 to account for her final score, and in the process becomes the first major winner to go on to win from a 10-shot deficit in round 1. 3 years after taking out the LPGA Tour's Rookie of the Season award, Ryu can consider herself now ranked amongst some of the best players in the women's game as she jumps to third place on the Race to CME Globe Order of Merit. On the DP World Tour, it was the Open d'Italia held at Circolo Golf Torino in Fiano, Torino, Italy. Winning here was Eugenio Chacarra. Back-to-back titles on the DP World Tour for Eugenio Chacarra as the Spaniard claimed his third career win on the tour. 2 weeks after his last start on the tour, where he won the KLM Open in the Netherlands, Chacarra sailed to victory, shooting 24 under, 5 and 6 shots clear of early pace setters Matt Wallace and Joachim Niemann, who settled for second and third respectively. The win gives Chacarra an entry spot to this year's Open at Royal Birkdale later this month. On the Hotel Planner Tour, it was the Blot Play 9, held at Golf Bluegreen de Pléneuf Val-André in Pléneuf, France. Winning here was John Goff. A maiden win on the Hotel Planner Tour for John Goff, shooting a score of 14 under par and finishing 2 shots clear of Frederick Keittrup in second place. Goff was the only man in the field to have 4 successive rounds under par and fired the joint lowest round of the tournament, a 63-7 under par in round 1. Thanks to this win, Goff now claims 55 places to 9th in the Road to Mallorca Seasons Order of Merit. On the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour, it was the Children's Hospital of Illinois Championship, held at Metamora Fields Golf Club in Metamora, Illinois, USA. Winning here was Emma Kaisia Bunch. An incredible achievement for amateur golfer Emma Kaisia Bunch, as she secures a second successive professional win on the Annika Women's All-Pro Tour, her second in as many starts. Running out on a lead of 15 under, 5 shots clear of 2 players in second place, Bunch now moves to second place in the season's Order of Merit. On the JLPGA, it was the Mondamin Cup, held at Camellia Hills Country Club in Sudegaura City, Chiba Prefecture, Japan. Winning here was Hyungkyung Park. After 8 wins on the KLPGA, Hyungkyung Park is now a first-time winner on the JLPGA. Park was tied for first in round 2 and then tied again for first place in round 3, sitting on 8 under par with Nanako Inagaki. Playing in the final group of the day, Park managed to shoot a round of 4 under par in response to Inagaki's 3 under par round, ending the tournament on 12 under to give Park the win by 1 shot. On the Alps Golf Tour, it was the UGolf Aravel Andorra Open, held at UGolf Aravel Andorra in Lleida, Spain. Winning here was Alexandra von der Moten. The 5th edition of the UGolf Aravel Andorra Open saw a second win of the season for Frenchman Alexandre van der Moten. His winning score of 11 under par and a 1-shot margin of victory over Victor Garcia Broto in second place was clinched with a birdie putt on Van der Moten's final hole of play, after bogeys on the 16th and 17th had dropped him back to 10 under par. An excellent finish for Van der Moten, which sees him climb to third in the season's order of merit standings. On the KPGA, it was the Gunsan Country Club Open, held at Gunsan Country Club, the tournament course in Gunsan-si, Jeonbuk-do, South Korea. Winning here was Hanmil Jung. Hanmil Jung led from round 2 through to round 4 to pick up a first career win on the KPGA Tour since his debut in 2017. Rounds of 71, 65, 66 and 69 at the par 72 course gave Jung a 17 under par final score and a 4-shot cushion over Song Hyung Kim in second place. The win sees Jung move to 9th place on the season's order of merit at the halfway point in the season. The KPGA Tour now takes a break over summer until late August. On the Ladies European Tour Access Series, it was the PGA of Sweden Championship held at Ellis Farm Golf Club in Hud, Sweden. Winning here was Elsa Svensson. 2 weeks after turning pro and only in her third start on the Ladies European Tour Access Series, Elsa Svensson is already a winner, claiming her maiden win in her home country of Sweden. A flawless 67 5 under in the final round, the lowest round of any player in the field, gave Svensson a 2-shot lead over Natalie Armbruster in solo second place. Svensson now sits 7th in the season's order of merit thanks to this win, with her tied 7th and tied 17th in her first 2 events counting for this excellent start to her Ladies European Tour Access Series career. Over on the KLPGA, it was the Mona Yangpyeong Open, held at Birch Hill Country Club in Pyeongchang-gun, Gangwon-do, South Korea. Winning here was Kim Min-sol. Kim Min-sol continues her excellent form in the 2026 season as she beat Choi Yerim across 2 playoff holes. Both players had finished the 3-round tournament on 12 under par after Min-sol bogeyed her final hole and Yerim made birdie. The setback of making bogey on the final hole didn't hamper Min-sol as she won the playoff, the same 18th hole she had bogeyed with a birdie at the second time of trying. This is Min-sol's 3rd win of the year, her 5th on the KLPGA, and extends her lead on the points and money list for the season. Out on the PGA Tour Americas, it was the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas Wichita Open, held at Crestview Country Club in Wichita, Kansas, USA. Winning here was Dawson Armstrong. 6 extra playoff holes were needed to find a winner in Kansas as Dawson Armstrong bested Corey Pereira and Harry Lord, and sees himself win for the first time in the new PGA Tour Americas format, his first win since 2019 on the old PGA Tour Canada format. The 3 players tied on 12 under during regulation play, with 6 repeats of the 18th hole providing the overtime drama. Lord falling out of the race with a bogey on the 4th attempt, and Dawson's birdie eventually beating Pereira on the 6th attempt. Dawson moves to 6th place in the season's order of merit thanks to this win. And lastly this week we head to the Pro Golf Tour, where it was the VCG Neuhof Open, held at Golf Club Neuhof in Dreieich, Germany. Winning here was Alexandre Doriel de Paladin. A 3-player tie at the top of the leaderboard for Alexandre Doriel de Paladin, Leon Bremer and Antoine Bachelier led to a playoff decider in Germany, with all 3 players finishing the tournament on 6 under par. A birdie for Doriel de Paladin on the 2nd playoff hole decided the tie, with the Frenchman taking out his first win on the Pro Golf Tour and moving himself up 45 places in the season's order of merit to 18th place. And for another week, that was golf. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode. If you like what we do here at That Was Golf, give us a follow on our Instagram page at That Was Golf Pod, and subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date with all future episodes released every Tuesday, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.